How's it going, everyone? I'm Swinky Games, and today I want to talk to you guys for a moment, and then I want to kind of go into today's topic. First of all, I do apologize. I have been unavailable the last month or so, and unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's going to change for a while. Some things did kind of loosen up a bit, so I might be able to squeeze in a little bit of game time here and there. But for the most part, like streaming and stuff like that, it's still going to be a ways away. I've just been really, really busy. I do apologize. Just got a lot of things going on. However, if you guys would like to maybe motivate me to record videos on my off time, definitely consider liking and subscribing. The more that you guys do, the more that helps me out, the more that helps to feed the algorithm gods, so that I might be able to help you guys out, and the more of you I will be able to help out, all right? Now today, I did want to take a few minutes to talk about warming up specifically. Why do I want to talk about warming up specifically? Because a few people on my Discord have been asking about how to improve themselves, as well as like pointing out things that they're really bad at sometimes. Also, I, scoured YouTube to see if there was anything decent. At least to me, my standard, I should say. They don't do terrible at explaining one or two things, but I feel like they're not really explaining the best things to help improve oneself in this game. For me, I do think the number one best way to start improving yourself does start at the warm-up space. Getting yourself warmed up properly before you start your matches, I do believe is more important. Sometimes I get it, you don't really have a lot of time. You have half an hour to play, maybe an hour, and you don't want to take, the 5, 10, maybe 20 minutes it might take to properly warm up. However, if you can, you still want to try to focus on it. I would say at least take a few minutes before you start to just run through these drills so you can determine what you're weak at today. What you might be not great at today, you might be the best at tomorrow if you're practicing these things back to back. As well as, one thing I notice between a lot of streamers and a lot of my Discord members is they'll go into warm-up space, and the very first thing they do they just start doing combos. And that's all they'll do. They don't do anything else. They just do combos. Different combo scenarios, which is great. You definitely want to practice that stuff. But that's only one aspect of Tekken. So there are other things that I think that people need to focus on, and that's kind of what I'm going to point out today. Again, warming up shouldn't take more than maybe, I would say at the most 20 minutes. I do believe after that, unless you're kind of just like maybe focusing on one thing a little too much, for the most part, you're not really doing much more than that. Maybe between matches, it's okay. But for the most part, like in a singular stretch, 20 minutes should be about the max. So specifically when you're warming up. So there's 5 steps. I'll go over them and, as we go. The first is going to be movement. I do believe movement is probably the most important aspect in Tekken to keep in mind. A lot of people forget that this is a 3D fighter. You can sidestep, you can sidewalk, you can wave dash, you can wave dash backwards with certain characters, or you might have to learn the Korean backdash, which is fine. Learning how to do certain movements like the wave dash or, the fox step. Stuff like that. With Horong specifically, I'm not really meaning for this to be specific to him, but overall, practice your movement first. Get your thumb warmed up if you're on the controller, or your hand on an arcade stick. Just kind of practice getting that warmed up a little bit. Learn where you figure out where exactly you are at, so that when you go into the match, you're not trying to do more than you're already aware of. So that's step one. That shouldn't take more than anywhere between 30 seconds to 2 minutes. You don't need to spend much time with this. You just practice a little bit, and that's pretty much it. The second step might take a little bit longer. I'm saying maybe 1 to 3 minutes, depending on the day you're having, which is moves with execution. Some characters have a little bit less, so you might spend 30 seconds on this. Characters like Horong, or the Mishimas, I should say. Maybe characters like King or Nina with chain throws. You might want to take a little bit of time to practice that stuff. With Horong, you want to practice his JFSR. You know, figure out, you know, a bunch of different situations. He also does have a wave dash. So you want to learn how to do stuff like down 3-4 after a wave dash, or, you know, doing the JFSR after a wave dash also is nice. Stuff like that. So practice your execution stuff just a little bit. Don't get too enveloped into this, because as you progress throughout the day and you play, your execution is automatically gonna become better. Just, you know, this is more of a make myself aware of where I'm at situation. Because if I'm coming in and I don't get much time to warm up, I go into a match. If I go for a JFSR right away, I'm probably not going to get it. I might get the regular one that gets blocked and punished. I might get, you know, something like this. I might get something that throws me off entirely. So you want to make sure that you're as aware as you can possibly be before you even start a match, so you can kind of maybe work on it here and there between matches. If you happen to be winning a match, then maybe you try something just to see if you're warming up more properly. And again, this one should only take anywhere between 1 to 3 minutes. Shouldn't take very long. And that's pretty much it for that. So far, we're looking at anywhere between 1.5 minutes to 5 minutes. 1.5 minutes to 5 minutes. Right? Yeah. So after that, you're going to practice your throw breaking. So this is step 3. You're going to practice your throw breaking. What I would suggest, get up nice and personal, have them start, you know, throwing, and you're just going to sit here and you're going to watch the arms. That's 1 plus 2, that's a 2, 1 plus 2, 1 plus 2, 1 plus 2, 1 plus 2, 2. And you're going to practice that over and over and over again. Once about a minute or so into it, a minute and a half, he's probably going to have tried that about 20 plus times. You should have a general idea of what they're looking like. So then you're just going to stand up and you're going to practice your throw breaking. Now there, you'll see that I hit the correct break. However, I was just a little slow. That's one of those things is like, okay, am I just slow today? Then maybe I should be a little bit more aware, and I'll try to keep that in mind. In this case, I pressed the wrong button because maybe I wasn't paying attention or I panicked, whatever it may be. So now I know, okay, I'm hitting the wrong button, I'm not paying attention, blah, blah, blah. Then you're automatically aware of what's going on, where your weakness is, and you can work on that. Throw breaking shouldn't take longer than 3 to 5 minutes. So you're at 4.5 minutes. to 10 minutes, depending on the day. Next, you're going to practice defense as well as punishing. So how do you go about doing this? Well, you pick a few strings. They don't have to be anything fantastic, and you just have the character perform them. Now, if you happen to get a launch punish, don't focus on like a big boy combo or anything like that. Just get something small that you can get every single time without thinking about it. All right? And just practice. Over and over again. Then practice your small punishment as well. Also, there will be situations where maybe you'll do a low parry. So you try something like that, get your low parry in there. You just practice stuff like that, right? Didn't do anything fantastic, but the idea here is mostly, you notice how the second attack is either a high or a low. So I'm practicing ducking those. Because there's a lot of strings that are like that, and a lot of people will use them. So you want to be able to capitalize on those situations. Then you'll have situations like that. So what is the importance of these strings particularly? Well, the main thing is that they're not really sidesteppable unless he delays them. As you can see. However, with Horong specifically, now that string in particular can be delayed and you can step it, so that is something to practice as well. But for the most part, there's also rare situations where Horong can get around certain strings. Now this is particular to Horong. Other characters like Zhao Yu, she might be able to duck enough to get out of a lot of situations or evade in her own way. Other characters might have certain parries that they have, you know. So you want to practice that stuff as you go. And just keep practicing. So, and then obviously as you get more comfortable, you would add everything else to it one by one to try to give yourself more of a challenge. And once you get to the point where you have everything on, then you're like, that's about as freaking warmed up defensively as you could possibly get. Throw breaking included. Like, but if you are at the point where you're able to do something like this, you're probably a higher rank than me. So, because even I am not going to do all 8 of those training segments or warm-up segments flawlessly. I'll probably maybe get 50-50 on average. So, it is what it is. But that's how you warm up. And that should take anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes as well. So you're looking at anywhere between 7.5 minutes to about 15 minutes. And then the last warm-up that you would do is basically the one that everybody already does. Get your combos in there. Now, the thing I will protest to is always practicing your most damaging combo. I hear every single time I see somebody do a video about practicing your combos, they say, do your most damaging combo you can do from every single one of your launchers. I don't think so. I think that's stupid because It's not feasible to think that you're going to get every single one of those combos on your opponent in the exact same way every single time. My main thing is find a launcher and make sure that the combo you are doing that day is consistent, whether it be a very weak combo or it be your max damage combo. So maybe it is your max damage combo and you practice that day. So for me, Horong's max damage combo, with his back 3 specifically, I get pretty good damage. If I think that I can get that consistently today, then that might be something that I can practice. However, if I come in, say, tomorrow, and something like that's happening, or you know, maybe I'm not getting the up 3 like I want to get, then, you know, I might have to go for something else. Holy crap. So you see, right there, that was perfect. So every single time I'm getting this, correct? I'm doing the execution right, everything like that. It's just not coming out for whatever reason. I'm probably being a little too fast. So for safety's sake, I might want to do something a little bit. Something of that nature, just to make sure I'm getting some damage. Now that didn't end up working out. So it's obviously going to be a little bit less damage, but I was able to make it consistent. I was able to get myself to a spot where what I was doing was consistent. And then, you know, once you get combos out in the open, then start adding in your walls, your floor breaks, and stuff like that. And this one can take anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes. You know, just like your defensive stuff, this can take 3 to 5 minutes. So you're looking at about 10.5 minutes to 20 minutes. So I would probably just round it down to 10 minutes, you know, depending on what you were doing. And, you know, so 10 to 20 minutes, perfect. Once you're done, you kind of analyze to yourself, what did I do well today? What did I do crap at today? I would say it's more important to focus on what you are crap at, because tomorrow, the thing that you were good at might be the thing that you suck at today when you get to it. And then the thing that you sucked at today, you might excel at tomorrow, you know? So always take a little bit of time to just find out where you are at the very least. And then once you know where you are, then you start, you know, going into what you're sucking at. So for me, oddly enough, it looks like it'll be my combos. So I might want to take a little bit of time to kind of get my combos more consistent, or to alter them so that I'm less likely to mess them up. Like so. And that's going to be pretty much it. Like I said, I just wanted to keep it short and sweet. Hopefully this didn't take too long. I do apologize if I rambled a little too much, but that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments, and I'll be sure to try to, you know, reply to each and every one of you guys. If you guys like this, again, consider liking and subscribing. It helps me out immensely. And with that, thank you guys for joining me and hanging out. Take care of yourselves. Happy gaming, and peace.